Good morning, Local 2881 Riverside members. My name is Michael Alvarado. I'm your Riverside District 6 Vice President. Today, I would like to communicate on several topics: the audit of the paramedic R&R differential, the pay compression, the local issues aspiring to health and safety, the staffing models that we're looking to maintain and improve, all of our political issues, our public safety tax measures that are out to ballot within our partner cities, and a working relationship with Chief Newman. First off, the R&R pay differential for paramedics. Earlier this year, we discovered and asked Gary Messing to start an audit. Gary Messing is our in-house legal counsel. Gary and his firm conducted an audit. They discovered that the paramedics R&R differential was not being included in the pensions, so meaning not your CalPERS. We also discovered that the overtime rate for the differential was not included. Also with the regularly hourly rate, so your regular pay was also not included. Then that turned to the EDWC. That was also not included. So as we move through this item, we will have pay compression with each individual permanent rank. Local 281 sees this as an opportunity. When we go back to the bargaining table at the end of our contract, we will be able to prove that pay compression still exists and that we will have to make the changes necessary to create a difference in percentages between each rank. Now, each individual paramedic, how long that they served in each individual rank, whether it's firefighter paramedic or engineer paramedic, the number and the amount of your back pay will differ. It'll be based on your overtime, it'll be based on your rate of pay at the time, and it'll obviously be based on perhaps your FLSA, or what we formerly know as your guaranteed overtime, and now what we're calling the EDWC. For instance, we have placed out several different numbers. Those are all different. Those are going to be different from each employee. Back pay and the statute of limitations, we have not concluded on what the statute of limitations will be. There are many different rumors that are out there. Right now, we are still in negotiations with the department and CalHR to determine what the statute of limitations will be. There are many rumors out there that say, okay, it's when the department had decided or when the department knew that they were paying the employee inaccurately. Obviously, CAL FIRE Local 2881, your union, wants to go all the way back to the inception of the contract. However, there are laws that may preclude that. So when we are in negotiations, we are trying to do the best that we can for our members for a maximum amount of time. Now, I already had said to you that each number will be different per employee because it all is based upon your amount of overtime that you work, your rate of pay at the time, and then your FLSA or your extended duty week as we know now. So all of those increases we looked at are contractual increases. So the amount of money that each individual will receive will vary. And those amounts, what we are looking for is obviously the pensionable income and getting you your back pay. The pensionable income is obviously a large one because that will affect your retirement outcome, right? So your total number that you are able to receive when you retire, that will impact your CalPERS. Now that will obviously impact all of our ranks as well because now you will have that compression that exists there. We also discovered through this audit that our COVID cash was being inaccurately computed as well. It's not nearly as high, but it still does include the regular rate of pay. It still does include your EDWIC and your overtime. So there is an hourly figure that is figured into that amount and that needs to be computed accurately. We do not have the totality of these numbers yet. We are still in negotiations with CalHR and CAL FIRE. All right, moving into the local issues. In 2017, many of you know that Cal OSHA found the department, CAL FIRE, Riverside unit, and cited them that our turnouts were not being cleaned. There was a non-permissible amount of carcinogens that were in our turnouts, in our PPE. We did not have a proper policy nor procedure that stated that we had to clean these after every structure fire or every exposure. Now we have that. That is your union working for you. I personally filed those due to the fact that I was noticing members who were consistently getting ill. Once I was able to find this under Title VIII, this complaint was obviously founded. The department now has purchased a second set of turnouts for each individual employee. There's a policy and there's a procedure to launder these. You also have extractors, at least one per battalion. Second part of that, in 2018, I had filed an OSHA complaint due to the fires in the Coachella Valley. There were recent illnesses. I believe that there were deaths that could be contributed to these, and there wasn't an OSHA complaint that was on file. So I filed an OSHA complaint due to the lack of policy and procedures. The department's responses seemed to be all over the place at best. There were known grape stakes, known hazardous materials, and our employees were constantly being exposed to that. And some were ultimately, I believe, retired for that. So OSHA investigated this along with EPA, AQMD, and at the end of the day, it was founded. The department disputed it, but it was ultimately founded and they settled. The department still has to provide a policy and a procedure within a guideline of time. There was a citation that was awarded. I have not personally seen the citation as of yet. I would suspect and assume that it is a fairly large amount due to the fact that they disputed the claim right away. But all in all, this is for the members each and every time. The members will be able now to hold the department liable and say, okay, you did not follow the process, nor did you follow the policy or the procedure to keep me safe with a permissible amount of exposure and a permissible amount of risk. During that process, we had several members who were still becoming ill with, whether it was with cancer or whether it was with a cough, and that cough has since not left many of our members. So through our members and through the investigation, this was founded. So not only was it your union helping you, but it was also the members helping the union in being able to support the claims and provide the factual evidence that shows that our department was at fault for all of these issues as far as the exposures go and the responses. And moving on to our staffing. Early on this year, in the first part of the fiscal year, there were 0 reductions in any of our fire department staffing. However, the Board of Supervisors elected to reduce 9 administrative positions. Those 9 administrative positions will all have impacts within the CAL FIRE Riverside unit. Some of those are the return to work coordinator, injury illness, payroll, scheduling coordinator, rehire, return to work. So with all of those, we'll have impacts on the floor. We came out in support of keeping those 9 positions. Unfortunately, on October 26th, the Board of Supervisors went ahead and enacted their 120-day notice, and subsequently, many of those positions needed to be reclassified within CAL FIRE. We were able to save 7. 2 ultimately will be reassigned to region or another state entity. During this process, Local 2881 and CAL FIRE had learned that the Board of Supervisors and County Executive Office were in discussions, and these were preliminary discussions, of exploring a Schedule C paramedic replacement for firefighter paramedics on fire engines. And then we also discovered that an apprentice firefighter was also being researched. This is in the research and development phase. Right now, Local 2881 and CAL FIRE, Chief Newman and myself, have both committed that this is not a sustainable model for any fire protection within this county. We have been able, as your union board, myself, Jeremy Tucker, Jesse Dolfemeyer, and Brian White, have been able to disprove the Schedule C component or development of a paramedic being able to ride on a fire engine. The apprentice firefighter, it was looked at early on and mentioned to us that firefighter ones wanted to be put back on Type 1 engines. We were able to discredit that claim because that supervisor did not have all of the information. That supervisor did not understand the pay rate of a firefighter 1 in comparison to a firefighter 2, did not understand that you cannot work a firefighter 1 year round. That is a seasonal position that does have limitations with maximums that you can work that employee. So in essence, you'd be paying for 2 positions trying to get 1. That was not financially responsible. So then they backed into the Schedule C paramedic position. Right now, we are actively engaged with our political action to re-educate and inform our Board of Supervisors and letting them know that what they get on a fire engine with the current staffing model that we have is a sustainable model. And ultimately, the amount of monies that are spent on each fire engine are minimal in the service that we provide, because we provide a maximum service that is all-inclusive with paramedics, and in many cases municipally staffed. We do have one city in particular, Temecula, that has 4-person staffing. That is ultimately our goal through our county right now. NFPA 1710 basically states that 4-person staffing is federally the minimum amount in urban areas. Heavy urban areas, it's 5, and then there's 5 on a truck. So we've been able to re-educate our Board of Supervisors, but we have to maintain those relationships. If we do not maintain those relationships, then ultimately some decisions are made on the 5th floor that the department nor the union will like. So it is very, very, very important that we maintain those relationships with our Board of Supervisors. Local 2881's focus, along with Chief Newman, is to maintain our current staffing model or improve our staffing model in our heavy urban areas. Right now, we have one hazmat team. We believe that it is time. Your union believes that it's time to start moving towards a heavy rescue program within this unit. The heavy rescue program should be staffed. What we believe is a Type 2 with 6. Right now, our current model is we utilize our trucks and our engine companies to supplement that staffing. Unfortunately, when the engine is moved up to cover or when the engine is taken on a strike team, we compromise that component. So we're not facilitating our role nor our responsibility within this county. Our trucks, they do a hell of a job. Our employees who are assigned to trucks do a hell of a job. Our folks who are assigned to engines who supplement that staffing as far as in the USAR component do a hell of a job. But realistically, it is unsustainable. We have a training matrix that is all over the place that we simply need to wrangle back in, and we really need to look and focus on what we're trying to accomplish, what are our objectives, and what are the priorities. Early on, we took several options to the Board of Supervisors. We took several options, and these options were not popular within many of our rank structure as far as the specialty classes go. Our hazmat unit right now, we're doing it with 1 in the county. We ultimately need 2. We know that, but where funds are very limited within these specialty programs, we are going to have to make some decisions as a department on what we're willing to support and not willing to support. But again, I want to be able to say to you guys that in this fiscal year, 2018-19, we had 0 fire station reductions. That was the first time in many years within our local here within this district that we have not had any fire station reductions. Part of that is due to our political action. Again, maintaining those relationships. We have 2 Board of Supervisor seats, Russ Bogue and Eric Linder. Both of those supervisors or elected candidates are the candidates who we endorsed as Local 2881. All of public safety has endorsed these candidates for public safety. Russ Bogue he's running opposed against Jeff Hewitt. Jeff Hewitt is currently the mayor of Calamasa. Jeff Hewitt believes in a part-time fire service, believes in a 401k retirement system, and also believes that CAL FIRE is no longer needed in Riverside County. Eric Linder is facing his candidate, or the opposing candidate is Karen Spiegel. Karen is a very nice person, but at the end of the day, she voted to reduce firefighter staffing in the city of Corona and lay off police officers. So as public safety, we cannot support a person that wants to lay off firefighters or reduce police officers in any capacity. So we decided to go with Eric Linder. Eric Linder has supported public safety for many years as an assembly member, and same with Russ Bogue as a formal assembly member. Russ Bogue, as many of you know who've been around a long time, he is the assembly person that championed our CAL FIRE name, taking us from CDF to CAL FIRE. Russ has been a friend of CAL FIRE Local 2881 for many years. Russ also carried a pay parity bill when he was in the assembly. Russ is on our side. Same with Eric Linder. Jeff Hewitt is not on our side. Jeff Hewitt wants to roll back to an unrecognizable fire service that may have been in this county in the early 20s and possibly the 1930s. Our public safety tax measures. We have many public safety tax measures that are out there. We have Measure AA in Wildemar. Wildemar is a public safety tax measure that will not only improve fire safety items and fire protection models that are there, but build a fire station that is across the street from the hospital there off of George. We also have Measure R. Measure R is in the city of Norco. Measure R right now is going to support additional staffing within the city of Norco and fire protection and maintain our current staffing that we do have there. Canyon Lake. Canyon Lake has a utility tax right now within that community to support and increase firefighter staffing. As you guys know, Canyon Lake left years ago, and it has now came back with the municipal staffing fire model back to the CAL FIRE Riverside County Fire family. We want to be able to maintain that. We want to be able to secure funding to ensure that we have that staffing model within Canyon Lake. So please support that utility tax. We also have Measure T in the city of Marietta. Although Measure T is supported by CAL FIRE Local 2881, the city of Marietta is not necessarily one of our partner cities who we contract with. But being public safety and having the support of Measure DD that was in Menifee and Measure S in Temecula, who are largely we surround Marietta, they also contributed to our political action with that. So this is public safety helping public safety. Many of you, I know, our members do not support public safety tax increases or tax increases for that matter. However, I will say this. In Menifee, we were able to support and successfully complete Measure DD. Measure DD, there was an effort to repeal Measure DD. That would have downstaffed the truck, that would have taken municipal fire staffing away from the city of Menifee, and ultimately we would have seen reductions in the paramedics on our fire staffing within the city of Menifee. Due to our 30,000 mailers that hit the streets and billboards, we were able to thwart that attack. We have kept Measure DED. It was originally put on the ballot measure for the preliminary elections that were going back in June of 2018, and ultimately your union was able to thwart that attack and with the support of its members, able to keep Measure DD in place in the city of Menifee. Moving on, with the political issues that we're facing right now within Calimesa. Local 2881 is engaged with our PAC with mailers, TV ads, radio ads, and door-to-door by many of our members. Many of our members have gone door-to-door to bring the truth out about Mr. Hewitt and what his agenda is. And his agenda, again, is to take firefighters to part-time staffing, 401k, and pay firefighters at a minimum wage. Local 2881 obviously does not support this, but the measurement of success is very, very low. The measurement of success, what we have found out and why it's so low, is that Calimesa right now is well over budget. They are part-time staff. They have 0 paramedics right now. Their response times have increased by nearly 2.5 minutes. And ultimately, as a union, we were able to go to the IAFF and conduct a financial audit of Calimesa. Calimesa is well over budget, and they are only part-time staffed. Their claims of NFPA 1710 staffing is simply false. They have 2 part-time employees, 2 full-time employees. One of the 4th people who is what they're including as the 4th body is an on-call. The 3rd person is paid within a stipend. And because the only 2 permanent employees who are there would be the fire captain and then the fire chief. Our neighboring cities right now are realizing that mutual aid is not reciprocated by by the city of Calimesa, nor is it timely. So there is a very limited capacity that we are helping the city of Calimesa and their fire department. And it's partly due to the fact that they cannot provide an equal service when asked by the Master Mutual Aid Agreement. Lastly, keeping Local 2881 members engaged. As a union, our political affiliation is not partisan. We stick to what we call our working conditions, and our working conditions simply are wages, work hours, benefits, and retirement. That's what we remain focused on. We will all have a difference in opinion in our candidates and who we want to endorse and what we are looking for. But what Local 2881 stays to the idea of those core four of our working conditions. Our wages and our contract increase in 2017, where we looked at that was, yes, we do know that that was impacted by minimum wage, and there was an increase that came in over that. We do know that. It has not kept up. It's not commensurate to our work hours. But these are all items that we can bargain with at a later time when we go back to the table. Our EIDL bill that was signed and amended into law in 2017 and amended in 2018 is a huge step for our members. Being able to be covered all the time with while at work and be able to receive their full net pay instead of 60% of their pay was a large win for CAL FIRE Local 2881. Unfortunately, the department lobbied against it. The department did not want to reward people for being injured, in their words, and being off. We felt what is fair and what is legal within a firefighter and in public safety, and we ultimately won. The governor did sign our bill into law. Our retirement. Local 281 obviously believes in keeping the California rule. That means basically what you sign up for as an employee, you're going to keep. It is a defined contribution. You, the employee, and the employer agree that you will both contribute an amount, so where at the end of your career you will have a pension. That pension is called a defined contribution, and yes, that pension is contributed by the employee and is contributed by the employer, meaning that you will always have a fixed rate for your pension. It will not fluctuate necessarily with a 401k system or the stock market. We work hard in keeping that. All of you work hard in maintaining that, and ultimately that's why many of us do the job that we do. Our work hours. Our work hours are archaic. We know that. Our shift patterns are archaic. We know that. Local 2881 right now is working very, very hard to attribute not only our work hours to the behavioral health and safety issues that we're facing right now, but also looking at the sustainability with the employees. We will not be able to accomplish a 56-hour work week if we do not bridge all of these items together. We have to do our job in being able to do the research and being able to do the data to support our claims in saying that this is unhealthy. We do know that the behavioral health side of things is obviously has increased. We believe as CAL FIRE that largely our behavioral issues are attributed to being stuck at work for weeks and months on end. We also believe that many of the items that occur at home are due to being forced on duty weeks, days, months at a time, and never being able to really fully know if you're able to go home. But two things that we need to fix before we go to a 56-hour work week. We need to be able to negotiate our EDWIC, our EDWC, into our salary. We have to be able to negotiate that, or we will be right back at square one with a reduction in work hours and not being able to roll that over. We also know that we're going to have to be able to recruit and retain employees. If we're not able to recruit or retain employees within our department, then a 56-hour work week will do us no good, because we will be right back to square one. We will be continually working every single day, just at a reduced hourly time. And yes, our overtime would increase and our hourly rate would increase, but that is not sustainable. And lastly, CAL FIRE, Local 2881, and CAL FIRE are working together. Both the unit chief and myself have committed to maintaining our current staffing model and improving our staffing model in all of our heavy urban areas. This is something that will not be easy. This is also the first time that not only the union and the fire chief have collectively agreed that we can take zero reductions, no more reductions. We cannot reduce any more staffing or any more fire stations. We also need to increase our staffing in certain areas. We need to have a proportional workload. There are many different cities right now who are researching the idea of why did they purchase a paramedic squad? A paramedic squad brings nothing to the table when it comes to fire protection ISO ratings. However, if a squad is introduced into a city as an additional piece of equipment, not in lieu of a fire engine, or it's one of the necessary steps to start a second station like we did in the city of Eastvale, those are all items that we can support, but there needs to be a means to the end, and we need to have a successful outcome with that. So both the fire chief and I have agreed as both labor and management to work together. We are working unilaterally within our elected offices, our elected officials, and right now we have to be able to prove through communication, education, and information that this county is getting all of its services provided by Local 2881. Unfortunately, there are ideas out there right now that beg to differ. Calamasa is one of them, and we are working to discredit and with facts to prove that not only is that model unsustainable, it's clearly unsafe for this county. Again, if any of you have any questions, I offer my email, I offer my phone number. My email is m.alvarado@rvcfirel2881.org, and my phone number is 951-545-2847. I work 7 days a week. Not only do I work my firefighter position within our partner city of Temecula, but I also do this with strong support of my family and strong support of my friends. They all understand that I work a 7 day a week job, and it's two jobs, but I'm here to serve all of you. Again, this is a team effort within Local 2881 within Riverside District. Jesse Dolfemeyer and Jeremy Tucker, they are my two deputies. Brian White is the secretary who gets most of the information out there. You have Mark Garcia and Peter Bochter, who are your rank and file directors and deputy directors. The rank and file reps. The rank and file reps, they represent discipline cases. They represent the members, and oftentimes when it's just not clearly a good time in a member's career, and with those cases and disciplinary cases, they have had some large success, especially with PSP, either having adverse actions reduced or overturned. So please thank your rank and file reps. Thank the other union officers within Local 2881 because the success that we have all had in the last 2 years clearly would not be able to be accomplished if we didn't have a team effort within our districts. Again, this is Michael Alvarado, your Local 2881 Riverside District Vice President, and if you have any questions, please email me, text me, or call me. Have a good day.